Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're cooking beef and daikon radish in the Instant Pot. As you look at the dry ingredients, I'll point out that I inadvertently received thin steak cut beef cross rib when I was supposed to get roast. I'd really wish we'd had bigger chunks, otherwise that was good. When we look at how this dish turned out, I will tell you it was incredibly tasty. The daikon has taken on a slightly sour and very peppery flavour that's much stronger than when it's raw. The sauce has cooked beautifully. I'd really encourage you to make sure you dredge the meat, which helps thicken the sauce without having to do it at the end, and does not leave you with a floury sauce. As it turns out, I was a bit worried about whether I was using too much liquid. Sometimes God smiles on the righteous, and it came out perfectly. So with that, we'll get into the video, and we'll take this opportunity to thank you for watching and hope you enjoy it. Hello and welcome to the channel again. And this is what I'll loosely call mise en place for a beef cross rib with daikon braise. Now what's missing from the picture are the components of the braising liquid, which I want to deal with separately for a very good reason. However, here we have, I'm using one of my cooking chopsticks to point them out, beef cross rib. This was supposed to be a cross rib roast that I bought from one of my local stores. When I got it home, it turns out to have been cut thin steak style, but we'll make it work. Daikon radish cut into fairly large pieces, which we'll be adding about 15 to 20 minutes before the cooking time is done. Some thin sliced daikon, which I'll be putting in with the cross rib, and I hope that they'll cook away and impart some good flavour and tenderness to the meat. We've got a shallot, which I am going to mince, and I mean grate to a paste, so that'll be absorbed very quickly. We've got a little bit of ginger, we don't want it to be overpowering, about a tablespoon of freshly ground black pepper, 5 garlic cloves, and a hot red chilli, which I am going to de-seed before we put it into the braise. And we'll deal with these individually. Our next step will be to coat our cross rib in a little bit of flour, and then we'll brown it off before we add the braise and the other components. Okay, welcome back. In addition to our mise en place, these are the 3 liquid components of our braising liquid. On the left, homemade dashi. Yes, I really do keep a jar in the fridge all the time. As a myriad of uses. My dashi, or at least this dashi, is kombu, katsuobushi, and dried shiitake. Now, why is this important? Because those 3 things combined have glutamate from the kombu, inosinate from the bonito, or katsuobushi, and guanylate from the dried shiitakes. These are the 3 real components of umami. Now, we're going to have a series on umami because, quite frankly, I don't think most people who talk about it have the faintest idea of what it really is. But anyway, that's not a topic for today. Then, also try to keep some of this in the fridge. Homemade, really gelatinous bone and meat broth. Give us a little bit of good texture to our gravy or sauce, but more importantly, it adds to the amount of nourishment in terms of the collagen and gelatin that this dish is going to bring to our table. And finally, Shaoxing rice wine. Okay, why Shaoxing? I happen to like the taste for a start. It's not expensive. And please note, this is not cooking wine. There's no salt in this. It's quite drinkable. I just like the flavor it brings to braised dishes, particularly if they have a Southeast Asian lean, which this dish certainly does. What could you use instead? The best second choice, honestly, would be an Amontillado sherry. Medium dry, tastes very similar to Shaoxing rice wine, believe it or not. But if you don't have Shaoxing in your pantry, you probably don't have any Amontillado sherry either. And we'll talk about this stuff later in a separate video. Third choice, honestly, would probably be some cheap port. Trader Joe's would be the place to go for that. Don't buy it off your supermarket shelf. That stuff's absolute rubbish. Especially, well, the cheap stuff is anyway. But I don't know if you'll have any of that in stock. Last stop would be a good, robust, dry red wine. And that would be something that will work in this dish. It's just it won't work quite as well as Shaoxing or Amontillado might. So with that, let's proceed with assembling our dish. Okay, so a fair question right about now is, well, I don't have any kombu, katsuobushi or dried shiitakes. What do I do? Well, I'd suggest you head over to World Market and see if you can find some of these in the Japanese section. It's where I bought them. It's dashi powder. I only buy these for use in emergencies. I much prefer to use fresh dashi or pre-cooked dashi from real ingredients. But if you watch a lot of videos about people cooking at home in Japan, they use a lot of dashi powder. Now, unless you're a vegan, please use the one on the right, which has kombu, bonito, katsuobushi, and shiitake. I'd throw a couple of sachets in to a braise of this size. If you're vegan, well, you won't be cooking this dish, will you? Because it has beef in it. But the one on the left is just shiitake and kombu, and will work if you don't have anything else. But go for the black box if you can find it. And I hope that helps you. It will get you around having to try and roast up all the ingredients just to make some dashi to enhance the umami in this braise. And since we're going to do the braise in the Instant Pot, I thought we might as well use the saute function to brown our meat and cut down on our washing up and clear up. Okay, so here are the rest of our components to be added to the meat before we add the braising liquid. And I want you to take a note of that handy little microplane grater that has a little catching container underneath it. I think it's meant for parmesan, but actually I bought it to grate onions and shallots. It's a great way to massage pureed onion and shallot into meat. Helps tenderize and flavor it. To save getting the ginger grater out, I did the ginger on it too. An hour in the Instant Pot, it'll cook away. Centre, you'll see there's crushed and chopped garlic and the de-seeded pepper. To the right of that are the thinly sliced daikon pieces, which I'm expecting to cook away. If they don't, it's not a disaster. And the tablespoon of freshly ground black peppercorns that we're going to add. So let's go ahead and throw those in. So here we are with all our flavourings and the thinly sliced daikon, which is really a flavouring, mixed in with our browned beef. We'll now add the braising liquid. Now, I've tamped the beef down. I only want to barely cover this. I don't want to have an excess of gravy or sauce left in the Instant Pot when this is finished. So we're going to start with half a cup each, and I'll let you know how we end up in a couple of minutes. Here we are after half a cup of Shaoxing, half a cup of dashi and half a cup of stock. Honestly, I could probably have done with a little less, but we'll see how this works out. Cook this on high for 45 minutes, stop, put the thicker slices of daikon in and cook it for another 15 minutes on high. See you later. So here we are, 45 minutes later. and the bigger chunks of daikon mixed in. The sauce has actually thickened up quite nicely from the flour that we coated the meat with. Well, I'm probably going to have to pull the bigger chunks of meat out and get the immersion blender in there to blend in the thin slices of daikon which haven't cooked down. So we'll check this in 15 minutes and give it a little longer if we need to get the larger pieces of daikon tender. Okay, so here we are. It's all done. 15 minutes for the daikon. I tested it with a knife. The sauce is the perfect consistency, helped by that little bit of flour we put in earlier. And it won't taste floury either, having been cooked for that long. I did take the daikon and the beef out and get after this with the immersion blender, which has helped with the sauce consistency. If I had to change one thing, I would say that I would have really preferred a roast cut, not the steak cut, so I could get some bigger chunks of beef in this to match the size of the pieces of daikon. But that's just a lesson learned. I'll pay more attention to what they're giving me at the butcher's department next time. We'll serve some of this up donburi style and show you what it looks like. Here's the finished product. Served up donburi style over a little bit of rice bowl style. 4 or 5 pieces of daikon, good helping of beef with a garnish of parsley and green or spring onion. From the way this smells, I'm expecting this will be an absolute taste bomb. So thanks for watching. As always, if you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like this video. And if you choose to see our varied content, I'd encourage you to subscribe too. Thanks for watching and have a great day.